Hey everyone, Tesla CEO Elon Musk is not shy about making boastful comments, but this one in particular struck me really, really hard. The comments about one of its products categories might shock even the most optimistic Tesla bulls in this case here. So let's review these latest products, and specifically, we're going to talk about the batteries and its Optimus robot segment, and we'll hear what Elon Musk had to say that's so shocking. Let's jump right in. I want to thank the Motley Fool for sponsoring this video. Visit fool.com/Parkev for the 10 best stocks to buy now. So let's start with the battery. And one of the investor questions that came in the latest conference call was asked about the status of the 4680 battery. And the company saying that production increased about 18 to 20% from the fourth quarter, and they expect to stay ahead of the Cybertruck ramp. And because they're ramping, the cost of goods sold, which is what COGS stands for, continues to drop rapidly week over week, driven by yield improvements throughout the lines and production volume increases. Now, if you're unaware, when a company ramps up a new product or a new line of business, it will continue improving efficiencies up to a certain point. Because let's say they have a manufacturing facility that's capable of producing 10,000 batteries per year. As they approach those 10,000 batteries, their cost of goods sold per unit will drop as they approach that 10,000 unit capacity. So they'll continue making improvements on the cost of goods sold up until they reach their manufacturing capacity limit. And then at that point, they need to make a decision. Do we keep production at the current level or do we need more? And if they decide they need more and they build another manufacturing facility, then they have to start that process over again and their cost of goods sold will rise again. And then it'll start dropping as they approach the limit of that new manufacturing facility. So the point is, as companies reach the limit of what they can produce, the cost of goods sold per unit drops because they're producing more and they're utilizing more of their capacity. That's what's happening here with Tesla and the battery. They're producing more, and so that's dropping the cost of goods sold per unit. But this isn't going to be an infinite opportunity. They're going to reach the limit of their manufacturing capacity, and then there's going to be a step increase, a step change, where their fixed costs are going to jump higher, and then they need to reach the capacity limit there, and that'll drop their cost of goods sold again. So this is good news that they're ramping the battery technology and it's getting better. They have room to improve here. And the manager is saying that their goal, and they expect to do this, is to beat supplier cost of nickel-based cells by the end of the year. So by the end of the year, they'll be able to produce their batteries at a lower cost than they're paying suppliers to do so right now. So that would be great news. Now, here's where the shocking comments come from. Elon Musk is in response to questions about the Optimus robot. Now, the question asks, are they currently performing any factory tasks, and when do you expect to start mass production? So Elon Musk saying that we are able to do simple factory tasks, or at least I should say factory tasks in the lab. So they're not being used yet for production. They're not doing anything that's adding value to Tesla just yet. We do think we will have Optimus in limited production in the natural factory itself, doing useful tasks before the end of this year. So they're hoping that before the end of this year, these robots will be able to do useful tasks. As of right now, they're not doing anything useful inside Tesla's factory. They're in labs, they're in testing, they're training, and they're doing things in there trying to figure out how they can actually utilize this technology. And then Elon says that they think they may be able to sell it externally, meaning to outside companies, by the end of next year. So, and then I love how he just finishes that statement by saying, these are just guesses, right? So as Elon Musk has claimed so many ambitious targets and ambitious statements about its products and services, I think the CEO realizes he's losing his credibility in terms of making these forecasts and statements about what their product pipeline is going to achieve. And it just and as if he needs to say it, saying these are just guesses at the end. I thought that was interesting. Here's the shocking statement. He follows that by saying, I think Optimus will be more valuable than everything else combined, meaning like everything else that they've done so far, achieving, they at one point had a market capitalization above 1 trillion. Now that's been cut almost in half. But saying that the Optimus will be more valuable than everything else before it's even doing anything useful inside of the factory. These types of comments are one of the reasons why there's, such a stark contrast between Tesla bulls and Tesla bears. The Tesla bulls just tend to believe all of these statements as if they are, 100% coming to fruition. And the Tesla bears see these kinds of statements and the continued boastful promises that rarely, or when they do come to fruition, happen several years later than expected, and say to themselves, this isn't the type of company I want to invest in. This isn't the type of management team I want to invest in. The type of management team that's hyping up products, over-promising and under-delivering. I don't know if I want to invest in this kind of company. So the CEO goes on to say, I think Tesla is best positioned of any humanoid robot maker to be able to reach volume production with efficient inference on the robot itself. He goes on to say, this perhaps is a point worth emphasizing, that Tesla's AI inference efficiency is vastly better than any other company. There's no company even close to the inference efficiency of Tesla. And you can decide for yourself whether you agree with this statement or not, whether or not that will come to fruition or not. It remains to be seen. I think this is a highly unlikely scenario, one that has a very little chance of coming to fruition. Although it is non-zero, there is a non-zero chance that this will come to fruition. It's just not very likely. It's not an outcome that if I was a Tesla stock investor, I would be thinking about as a reason why I would want to invest. If anything, this might be a reason why I would not want to invest if I was a Tesla stock investor, because it's a non-core activity to Tesla's business. It's spending that's happening outside of its core business activity. And that's money and energy and time that could be devoted to efforts that are more likely to develop revenue and cash flow and profitability, rather than spending on this project that may or may not come to fruition. And if it does, it's questionable what value it will add to the business. So regardless, Tesla's CEO Elon Musk seems to be very optimistic about this. And it's not unlike Tesla's CEO's past, where always looking to the future, 5, 10 years ahead, 20 years ahead, promising some remarkable product or something in the future. And investors waiting, since 2015 for driverless cars, waiting since how many years for the lower priced model, waiting and waiting and waiting. Meanwhile, boastful promises continue to be made. I would say that this, if it does happen, if they do come up with this product and it is actually helping, and it helps them reduce some of their labor expense, then it could be a big deal if they can actually reduce some of their labor expense. But even with robotics and the advancements of robotics right now, you still need some level of human input into the car making process. And I don't know how much that can be removed from that process. So interesting, nevertheless, even if it's not highly likely, it's still interesting. It still causes interesting discussion, and it still causes investors to discuss and be optimistic about the likely of it happening. Before I let you go, let me tell you about the greatest deal on YouTube. With just a click of a button, you can get free financial analysis from a professor with decades of investing experience. So what are you waiting for? Hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you again soon.